everyone, I'm Namu and welcome to a new video. Today, we're gonna watch Top 10 Most Misunderstood Animals by Casual Geographic. And this is my very first time watching a video from them, so I'm extra interested and curious and excited for this one. So yeah, let's get started right away.
Can recognize their caretakers and show affection. Will bond with certain individuals and follow them around. Will often bring someone an object and play tug-of-war.
What animal am I? Show affection, play tug of war, bond with certain individuals. Sounds like a doggo, right? Although I'm sure other animals could do this too.
Gentle, inquisitive, and very intelligent. You'd think all this was from someone describing their dog. Actually, these quotes are all from people talking about vultures.
No way.
Jurassic-sized graveyard griefing alopecia pigeon.
Wait, hold on, what is this? Is this their beak, like their mouth opened? Right? Okay.
Jurassic-sized graveyard griefing alopecia pigeon actually has the personality of an imprinted puppy. You might not know that because most times people see one, it's either thousands of feet above the earth looking for death or on the ground feeding off it. Truth is, the vulture just might be the most generationally misunderstood.
Why do they look scary though? Like, why can you see through their nose? I just didn't know that this is how they look.
And in the spirit of Earth Day, I'm going to be talking about the top 10 most maligned and honestly reputationally screwed over animals. In my biased opinion. You can't please everyone, but I like my list, so let's get into it.
Okay. I did see a little peek of a group of hyenas, and I'm curious about that too.
Starting off, it's not hard to see how vultures got done dirty. It's pretty hard to earn public favor when you dive bowels deep in a bloated buffalo for a living. Then you add the fact that they'll leak liquid nasty all over their legs to stay cool, projectile vomit in self-defense, and in a world of pretty privilege, vultures have a homely handicap. But anyone who's worked with them will swear by how smart they are. They're arguably the smartest birds that aren't corvids or parrots, and they're part of the exclusive group of animals able to make and use tools, with Egyptian vultures using a rock to have an ostrich-sized omelet. And yeah, get on their good side and it's like having a lapdog with wings. Apollo was a turkey vulture who apparently caught feelings for her caretaker.
Turkey vulture? There's so many variety of them, like all the different clips of them. They all look so different. Look, the vulture even gave him a little hat.
Dave. They're also smart enough for a vulture vendetta to be a real thing. But what makes them underrated is just how much worse our quality of life would be without them. Botulinum toxins is the deadliest natural substance known to man, and vultures eat it like candy. Vultures can also tank tuberculosis, anthrax, and even the bubonic plague. Folks associate them with death and disease, but that's exactly what they help prevent. And if you want to know what happens when you avoid vultures, look no further than India. With about a 99% loss, vultures in India suffered one of the worst bird blights in history, mostly thanks to a drug given to cattle that also caused kidney failure in the feathery coffins. And with less of nature's cleanup crew taking care of expired bodies, the number of feral dogs went up, and so did cases of rabies.
That's so interesting. So we gotta thank them. They're doing like public service. Even though what they do, we like they get stereotyped over what they do. It's exactly the thing that they get stereotyped for negatively. Like the act of that benefits the rest of like other animals to stay healthy. Respect, we must pay them respect.
And if you remember my Halloween video, a rise in rabies might be the biggest jihad to the human
Oh no, wait, did his tongue get stuck on the cold window?
race. But that's not the only social work vultures offer for free. The turkey vulture's nose is so OP, they've actually been used to help find gas leaks, with engineers putting special chemicals in pipes. And with them being more corpse happy than a necro in a morgue, many places rely on vultures as alarms against poaching activity. Unfortunately, the poachers started to catch on and have been murking the snitch tweeties by the hundreds, even the ones that are endangered. Worst part is, they're pretty easy targets because it's hard to hide when you're part-time in the sky, and there's no witness protection for a sewer stork. Pretty easy to victimize when you're vulnerable and easy to track.
Now I wanna have pet them. No, someone keep them safe.
And these are vultures we're talking about. It's not like they have cloaks or camouflage or a VPN. And you know, that last one would actually help a lot since something like NordVPN would help the sky caskets go off the grid. Since NordVPN creates an encrypted tunnel for your data and protects your identity by hiding your IP address. Which means, unlike vultures, you can disappear to a place no poacher can find you. Another difference is where you can find a flying carcass merchant anywhere that isn't Antarctica or, weirdly enough, Australia. NordVPN allows you to connect to one of thousands of servers across countries all over the world, which means if you want to enjoy some wild Australian entertainment without entertaining the Australian wild, the servers of Down Under are only a click away. And where vultures clearly invested in being a tank of a raptor, with reliable servers, you never have to feel like you sold your speed for security. And like how the V-Bird's liquid assault protects it from bacteria,
what are they peeing? What?
Threat protection shields you from ads, trackers, and malware, along with a dark web monitor to make sure your personals don't end up in the wrong place and leave you more violated than a past tense pig. So to get the most out of your streaming service, you go to nordvpn.com/casualgeo for an exclusive deal on a 2-year plan plus 4 months extra. With Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee, it's virtually risk-free. Nothing about being a vulture is risk-free. That's why the condor nearly got wiped off the census.
It's so scary, but also so cool how their eyes are red, like actually red. It's like I don't know if I've seen, besides rats, if I've seen, or I guess rats and frogs. I've not seen birds with red eyes. I guess just haven't seen that many variety of animal pictures.
But in a W from humanity, conservation efforts help bring the big bird back from the brink. Hopefully people start to come around to vultures. Anything that chill with capybara can't be that bad. Just too bad you can't say that about number 9. The Grim Reaper once released a gang of guppies into the Amazon and made it our problem. Or at least that's what you would think from how much the media gets on them. You've probably heard that piranhas can undress a cow down to the bones in minutes, and that skinny dipping in a pool of piranhas is one way to get blacklisted from breathing. Truth is, these fish felons are mostly scavengers, and when you do see one with an expired body, they're usually not the cause, but a symptom. They don't go out of their way to homicide humans. Most attacks involve people either splashing around like prey or getting way too close to a feeding frenzy. But they're basically the bees of water. They don't want smoke, quite the opposite. For all that face, piranhas are naturally timid and scare easy. So much that you actually have to give them places to hide in an aquarium because of just how neurotic they are. Also, they're not strictly meat. They'll also eat fruits, they'll eat seeds, leaves. There's even a type that eats mostly river reeds. But
okay, so like vultures, maybe they're like kind of like vultures of the sea, and they just clean up what's like the already dead, and then like therefore prevent diseases from spreading too. Maybe that's like my guess by this point. Also interesting to learn that like they don't attack normally, like if you're not dead. If you're already dead, they're gonna try to feed off of you, but otherwise, unless they're like provoked, or yeah, unless they're like already feeding and then you just happen to be next to them, they're not gonna come at you.
That wouldn't really make a good movie, now would it? Now, I'm not gonna sit here and act like they're not capable of mass destruction, but their PR team really did them filth. Jeremy Wade sat in a pool of allegedly trigger-happy piranhas and didn't even get touched. And the whole cow story came from a Theodore Roosevelt hunting expedition where he saw it happen. The catch is, the guides wanted to impress the president, because who wouldn't? So they actually netted off a section of the river and starved the fish in it for a week, only to feed them with a cow while Roosevelt was watching. And just like the cow, the piranha's reputation never recovered. Sometimes all it takes is one incident to royally screw over an animal. Something next on the list knows all too well.
That's insane.
Let's just get this out the way. There are some deaths where you never forget where you were the moment you found out. For me, that's Kobe Bryant, Chadwick Boseman, and of course, Khaki Animal Jesus, aka Steve Irwin. And many have had smoke for stingray kind ever since. But before you go wage war on a water waffle, first we gotta talk—
Wait, did he die because of stingray? About to touch a stingray, I should punch it through. Punch it though, just to let it know Steve Irwin still got shooters out here. Did he die from? I don't know his story. I guess I don't I recognize his face, but I don't know how he passed away.
I've had smoke for stingray kind ever since. But before you go wage war on a water waffle, first we gotta talk about just what went down. For one, Steve Irwin got struck directly in the heart, causing massive bleeding. He also never traveled with anti-venom, because anti-venom was anti-Irwin. Wouldn't have mattered anyway, because it wasn't even the venom that did it. Again, it was the bleeding. Stingray venom isn't even all that fatal. And at the time, it was only the second reported stingray-related death in Australia since 1945. It
He got stung in the heart.
took over an hour for him to get to emergency workers, but again, it probably wouldn't have made a difference. The point is, literally everything that could have possibly went wrong. Like piranhas, stingrays are what a New Yorker might call a scary ad that would rather run away than run a fade. I went to the Cayman Islands a couple of months ago and visited Stingray City, and as someone religiously terrified of the ocean, I can tell you, the crepe of the coast is in fact chill like that. Pro tip, if you're ever walking around stingrays, do the stingray shuffle. You're just gonna want to drag your feet. Basically, you don't want them to leave the floor in case RNG makes you turn a rain to a welcome mat. Other than that, unless you're a
Wait, what? Wait, what did he say? What was his advice?
pro tip, if you're ever walking around stingrays, do the stingray shuffle. You're just gonna want to drag your feet. Basically, you don't want them to leave the floor in case RNG makes you turn a rain to a welcome mat.
Okay, so like drag your feet so you don't accidentally step on them, because that's gonna get them mad, obviously. Because who wants to get stepped on and then they might attack you? Otherwise, they're chill, maybe.
Other than that, unless you're a crab or a fish, you really don't have much to worry about. Besides, let's not act like Steve Irwin, the same man that took a love bite from a cobra and said sorry to the snake, isn't somewhere in the afterlife eternally apologizing to the stingray for spooking him. Stingrays have been misunderstood ever since, but we can drop the vendetta. If we know anything about Steve, that's exactly what he would have wanted.
So, okay, I'm just like wondering how stingray really looks like to be able to pierce someone's heart. Stingray. Sting. Is that it? This part? Under their tail, maybe? Or maybe there's a little spike. Because this looks like it's smooth, like it's soft. When they were swimming around. Like this. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm really gonna have to explain putting dolphins here. Okay,
Yeah.
well I feel like this weird thing happened where we went from Free Willy to finding out dolphins take that title seriously. So much that we ended up overcorrecting. And I personally and publicly talked endless amounts of shit.
Why the world should fear dolphins, not sharks?
Don't get me wrong, the facts I said, I'll say again, and I'll say it with my chest. But me calling them water Weinsteins or homicidal hot dogs or a blowhole bandit, nah, that's actually still crazy. But that's just me anthropomorphizing. I don't actually think they're evil. It's fun to treat them like humans, but they're still just wild animals doing what comes
They're
naturally.
so cute,
It's just
though.
that what comes
Except
naturally
that Photoshop, that one looked kind of creepy.
often involves them naturally. Actually, I should never mind. Look, with intelligent animals, there's always going to be duality, and I don't even need to say it. I just have to show you these two articles. But dolphins can be wholesome. There's always going to be duality.
Elephant walks 12 hours every year to pay respect to a human friend who passed away 7 years ago. And then there's elephant who kills woman and returns to her funeral to attack her corpse. That's crazy. Yeah, but it makes sense. If an animal is like extra intelligent, they will have, I feel like, more complex behavior that you can't just kind of group them up all together and assume there will be like outlier like situations like this. You know, they just behave more individualistically, if that's a word.
Show you these two articles. But dolphins can be wholesome too. Like the same way
cool.
parents will baby talk a toddler, mother dolphins actually do with their calves. They'll also sing to their baby before it's even born to teach them to recognize the sound of its mother's voice.
so
We also found
sweet.
out that dolphins in a pod will often go out of their way to make less noise so to not confuse the calf in the oven. And when it's out, being a helicopter parent means mama dolphin won't sleep for up to a month straight. There's also decent evidence that dolphins get excited around pregnant women because they can detect the fetus and understand the implication of new life. And of course, there are stories of dolphins saving people from drowning and sharks. Hey man, I'm not going soft. I'm still gonna get my jokes off whenever I can. I just feel like because they're so smart, people make the mistake of holding them to human standards, which is pretty unfair considering a lot of humans don't even reach those. Dolphins aren't Disney characters
It's
or
so creepy. Why are they so creepy? The one that was
It is
standing
pretty
behind,
unfair
or yeah, standing behind this man. What is he thinking? What is this dolphin thinking? It's up to absolutely no good.
a lot of humans don't even reach those. Dolphins aren't Disney characters or the spawn of Satan. They're just
This is
them. And as the
dolphins.
final boss of dolphins, you can go ahead and put orcas in that too.
Dun, 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 dun.
The great
Wait, so this one it's misunderstood, but misunderstood in a positive way? Is that what he's saying? Or like either way? Like they're either like thought of like way hyped up to be friendlier than they actually are, and then like the other way as well? Maybe? Okay, and we got squirrels.
greatest trick squirrels ever pulled was convincing the world they're just whimsical, nut-loving creatures, when they're actually rodent psychopaths profiting off pretty privilege. They'll eat things
Squirrels are
like baby
so smart. Oh
birds,
gosh.
baby bunnies, and even snakes.
No
Red
way.
squirrels are also part-time cannibals, with males that'll seek and destroy
I didn't know that squirrels are cannibals.
and eat pups, only to get with the mother of the kids they just murked. Let's not forget that time a group of squirrels dismembered a dog for barking too loud. Also, the number of squirrels with manslaughter charges is higher than you think. It's estimated that chew-happy bushtails cause up to 30,000 fires a year, not only costing millions in damage, but likely barbecuing human collateral in the process. There was even a time a squirrel damaged the electrical system of a complex with NASDAQ, freezing computers and crippling the market for over an hour. That wouldn't be the last time. In fact, one did the exact same thing 7 years later. Now, I know I'm doing the squirrels what I just admitted I've done to dolphins, but in my defense, I have a bias. I once got jumped by a pack of squirrels in Manhattan, and that was one half of a
Okay, I have a story similar, but I didn't actually get jumped on by the squirrels, and they weren't packed. It's just one. But I was just walking, minding my own business in the park, and there was this one squirrel that was like on the tree, but like your eye level. It was sitting at on the tree, and I had to go that way. I had to pass, and so I was just looking forward, trying to walk by, and the way it hissed at me, I was terrified. Ever since then, I kind of want to have the safe distance at all times. With the squirrels, I have no desire to get near them because for that moment, I imagine getting jumped on by this little squirrel. If it just hops on my face and scratches me up, I have absolutely nothing I can do. Even from getting hissed at by a wild squirrel, it was enough. If he was actually jumped, like attacked by like a bunch of squirrels, like I can't blame him. I cannot blame him at all.
sandwich I never got back. Moral of the story, there's a reason the smartest man in the universe immediately took a knee in the face of the Acorn Mafia.
Huh? Wait, what? I don't get this one. It's probably like a famous episode from this cartoon. I just don't know.
He took a knee in the face of the Acorn Mafia.
Number 5.
And here you have another case
Pig.
of animal gaslight. Pigs
Okay,
only get the
I think this is a good one. Like it's like negatively understood, but it's actually a positive. Cause like from what I know, pigs are really clean. Actually, it's just how they're kept, where people keep them, are is dirty. But like they bathe, they like to keep themselves clean. That's why they like roll themselves in mud. But if they're given something else, they might roll themselves in something else. And they're really, really intelligent, I think. Like you can actually like potty train them. I think those are like what I've heard before.
reputation of being dirty because we keep them in filth. In reality, pigs are pretty clean, and when they have a choice, they'll refuse to poop anywhere near where they eat. Pigs are arguably smarter than cats and dogs, and most experts say they're more trainable too. They somewhat passed the mirror test, and some were even taught to play video games.
What's a mirror
In '98,
test?
Lulu the potbelly saved her owner from a near-fatal heart attack by rushing out into the road and playing dead until she could get someone's attention and lead them back home. I also feel like we forget how well pigs did without us, and from the
Look at all the swinging. It's so cute and busy. The tail swing, the ears swing.
river hog of the Congo, to the pygmy hog of India, to the bearded Borneo pig,
Whoa.
the swine smart enough and adaptable enough to live virtually anywhere.
It
On
almost
a
looks like a dog.
dolphin type beat, mother pigs will often sing to their piglets while nursing. And speaking of piglets, they can recognize their name at only 2 weeks old. You can argue pigs are everything we value in an animal. They're intelligent, they're affectionate, they're super
so
trainable. Because they
cute.
were bred for food, they got big screwed. Look, I'm not gonna virtue signal. You could give me 101 facts on cows, I'll probably still be out here door dashing McDonald's. But it's pretty criminal what we did to the pig's PR. Put it this way, this guy would have been by far the smartest character in the barnyard. They deserve way better than what they've gotten, and I'm not saying you have to give up bacon. All I'm gonna say is, according to cannibals, the closest tasting thing to human meat is pork.
Bruh,
I'm gonna let y'all meditate on that.
I don't want to know that. Should I read that blurb though? What does it
It's
say?
pork.
That's disturbing. Why can't someone know that though? How does someone testify that? That's so I don't bruh. Ultimately, without actually eating some of the stuff ourselves, all we have are the subjective evaluation of a collection of murderers who may not be the most reliable of witnesses. But there is a certain consistency here. Certainly, the cannibals themselves seem to have generally considered it closer to pork, so we consulted with these. Okay. And indeed close enough that they were happy to label it as such when selling it to unfortunate members of the public through a meat market and hot dog stand of 1920s Germany and Poland. I don't know what I just read.
I'm gonna let y'all meditate on that. Rats are number 4, and almost entirely because they got blamed for the bubonic plague when the main carrier of the lice and fleas that caused it was likely humans themselves.
Really?
My theory is rats are found in cities, and cities are usually dirty, so we often see all rats as dirty. In reality, rats are constantly cleaning themselves. In fact, one of the ways they bond is by grooming each other. It's called allogrooming. Speaking of bonds, rats can often form emotional ones with humans, and anyone who's had a rat will tell you, at some point they'll try to groom you like you're a giant rat. Rats can also provide a public service, with many African poached rats actually being trained to sniff out tuberculosis. The same species has been used to sniff out hidden landmines, and not only can they cover the ground in 20 minutes that would take a trained human days, they can obviously walk across the mines without going back to ground zero. Magawa, the explosive tech rat, earned a gold medal after sussing out 100 mines in Cambodia and clearing 225,000 square feet of land. He's not the only heroic rodent. There are several stories of rats saving owners from house fires where they easily could have hightailed it. You know, if it wasn't for the bad PR, rats just might be the top pet. Only bad side with them is they have short lifespans and your feelings will get hurt.
They're so cute.
Only
Look
bad
at
side
the
with
babies. They look so fluff. Oh my gosh, they look so cute in this shot.
them is they have short lifespans and your feelings will get hurt.
Look at that little pink nose.
You know, the fact that this is the only animal that needed a
I
trigger
understand why
warning
he had
is
to
enough
give
to put
warning, but that was too short of a warning. Like, should last a little longer.
spiders at third. Now, I'm not going to downplay arachnophobia like I didn't used to backpedal to pigeons, but spiders are a great example of bark being way worse than their bite. Take the tarantula, they're like the granddaddy of arachnid anxiety, but not only is their venom about as bad as a bee sting, not only are they so fragile they can literally explode if they fall a couple feet. Unlike bees, there's no record of tarantula venom terminating a person. Of course, there's thousands of types of tarantulas, and some are more of a geode than others, but then you have the ones that adopt frogs as nannies, with the frog eating all the insects that could grief the spider's eggs, and the frog getting an 8-legged bodyguard. Truth is, there's about 50,000 species of spiders seasoning the earth, and less than 0.1% of them are a legitimate threat to your life.
I thought that if you get bitten by like a tarantula, you die. Or you can.
And that doesn't include the smallest spider in the world, the patu de bois, or jumping spiders, which are literally small enough to wear water as a hat. And when
I have seen some TikTok of like someone who like does a skit with their pet jumping spider, and like the way that they showed this like side of their pet, it's really cute and endearing. So I feel like they're doing some PR work for spiders with their account for sure. Cause it made me think like, hey, spiders are kind of cute for the first time. For the first time, only those TikTok that account that I've seen, but I still would not be able to just have a spider chill next to me without freaking out.
Despite the fact that they basically have paws to help them walk vertical, and that some like the wolf spider can purr, are spiders not just the cats of insects?
It's still
My
scary.
bad, arachnids. According to the CDC,
The
the
way
number
they
of people
jump.
murked by spiders a year is 7. You're more likely to get slept by a vindictive vending machine. Okay, you're not impressed. How about this? Spiders eat up to 800 million tons of insects that could otherwise destroy crops. If Thanos had beef with spiders, not only would there be way less food, it would be stupid expensive. You can thank spiders for a 4 for 4 not setting you back for 100. Not to mention all the pesticides we need to stay alive when ironically turned the earth into a disaster movie. Look, I'm not saying you got a cape for spiders. I know I'm biased. In fact,
What is that one? It looks like it's wearing like a pope hat. There's so many varieties, it's incredible.
ice is probably why the next animal's number 2. I love Lion King, but they'll forever catch smoke for convincing an entire generation that hyenas are, well, that. Hyenas got profiled as scavengers when up to 95% of what they eat is something they can get credit for killing. Gaslight goes crazy because the literal Lion King poaches more food from hyenas than hyenas hoe lions. And since a laugh-happy vice trap eats every part of an animal, like land vultures, the world would be a much nastier place without the meerkat on a bulk. Everyone wanna shit on the garbage man until he quits and leaves you with the shit. But honestly, it's the stupid part that gets me heated. In experiments, spotted hyenas actually perform better in cooperative problem-solving tests than chimpanzees. You know, the chainsaw with thumbs we share 98% of our DNA with. Hyenas are way smarter than they get credit for. Take Waffles, for example. Waffles was a lady hyena in a clan, and at the very bottom of it, no less. And in just a year, she went from the dirt under the ladder to the alpha at the very top, and she didn't even have to fight for it. All she needed was the power of friendship. No, I'm serious. Waffles slowly made the right friends, built alliances with other low ranks, earned favor with some of the higher ups, and before the ones at the top could even realize it, the hyena named Waffles had caused what scientists would later refer to as the syrup rising. And you'd think she'd go power hungry once she got the throne, but nah, the opposite. She never switched up on the ones that got her there, and there were even times where she helped feed the cubs of low status moms. Because hyena hierarchy is more about social networking and climbing the corporate ladder than just running fades all day. See, you wouldn't know that from just watching Lion King, and while some are starting to come around to this giant maligned mongoose, one movie ruined the last animal's rep damn near permanently.
Dang. Yeah, so it's basically like I like the way he kind of like phrased it. Like these animals basically that clean up the trash essentially are like labeled as bad. Like the vultures, piranhas, hyenas. We need them justice. This is a good awareness video for them for sure.
There was no way sharks weren't getting the #1 spot, and really, any way you look at it, we did this overgrown grief guppy grimy. How about the fact that the shark's KD ratio is about 10 a year to the 100 million that get murked by people? What about the fact that a coconut to the dome or a bathtub accident is way more likely to flatline you than a shark? There's the fact that we have over 500 species of them, but really only about 4 are seen as legitimately dangerous, so I don't blame you for folding the great whites, tiger sharks, bull sharks, and the underrated oceanic white tip. But this is a shark, and it's unproblematic to anything that isn't plankton. Same thing with the basking aka Kirby shark, which is really just a giant pacifish. Then you got white tip reef sharks that are not only non-aggressive, they cuddle each other to sleep. And you can't forget the lemon shark being the golden retriever of the sea that'll often form bonds with divers. Blondie was an 8-foot lemon shark that would go up to divers, but the only thing she'd be hunting for is attention and affection. And while yeah, I'm not exactly a huge fan of this, at the end of the day, I wouldn't want a shark in my living room. You can't be mad when you go into theirs. Because if there's one thing you should
This looks so cool though.
take from this video, calling it shark infested waters is really wild disrespectful. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. Make sure you drink water, hug your mother, and maybe give guppies a break. I promise you loan sharks and way more lives. Shout out to NordVPN for sponsoring this video.
That's
and I'ma see y'all
crazy. They're actually cuddling. Wow.
in the next one.
That looks fake almost because
Cuidado,
of it.
Cuidado.
What is this? What is this?
Ahí va, ahí va.
Oh, it's a vulture. Let's go.
Sí.
Let him free.
Venga, a volar.
He was scared.
Ahí
Aww.
se queda.
Sweet.
Brought to you by NordVPN.
Okay, that was a cool video. I didn't know about the vultures at all. The piranhas too. I didn't know that they don't attack usually. And then I didn't really know about stingrays either. I know that dolphins are smart, but I guess it's a good reminder to not put your guard almost down completely, because at the end they're animals. Like they're a wild animal. Pigs, I knew that they're really smart, so that wasn't a surprise. I knew that they were very smart and clean, and you can bond with them very well too. Rats, I knew kinda, like I didn't know that they're not the ones to be blamed for the plague. I didn't know that they did like mine spotting for us and stuff. That's really cool. Spiders, like I've heard that like it's good to like just let them be, because they'll like prevent other bugs and stuff, but I can't help but be scared of them. Overall, very cool video learning about various things about various animals, and I'm glad I checked it out. Thank you so much for watching it with me, and I'll see you in another video. Until then, take care.